and I think in 10 years' time, there'll be an opening, and I do believe it's going to become a cult hit. I think it's happening now, like one person at a time. But we wanted to say something, and I think we said it. I just don't think people understood it.
Some movies take time.
Like, yes, like The Wizard of Oz, people didn't really get when it came out, wasn't considered a hit. Hello? You know, Rocky Horror Picture Show developed a cult following, so I'm kind of hoping for that kind of...
Well, I wish you luck at the Razzies.
Thank you. Well, if I hope to see you there. Will you interview me there?
Absolutely. You can.
Can you imagine? So when you were making all the Bouncers, like smattering of applause, but yeah.
Bradley Cooper's great.
Yes, yeah. Bradley, and Thomas Hayden Church and Ken Jeong. I mean, come on. I got to spend every day with those nutcases and see what they did. And I would make that. It was a hard experience. That was an experience that made me feel like I should maybe not do this business again. And I'm being very sincere about that. It was not a pleasant time, and I wished it had been. But I got to work with those guys who I became really good friends with because they're out of their mind, and you need to be when you're funny like they are. And, I mean, you saw The Hangover, right?
Oh yeah.
You saw, yeah. You guys saw Ken Jeong jump out of the trunk of that car, right? Yeah, you saw what he wasn't wearing, right? And you saw what I was like, really? Just good. Those guys deserve the career that they have, and it's so much fun to watch them just like reap the rewards of great work.
It's great.
Great work that they didn't do in All About Steve.
Well, earlier that summer, a little movie came out in June called The Proposal. And you know, it's made about $300 million around the world, which is pretty damn good. And you didn't want to do that picture, is that
right? I know. It seems the things I said no to have benefited me the most. Yeah, I just didn't want to do a romantic comedy. So when I heard the RC word, I said no. I've worked really hard at Knot and had wonderful film experiences, so I don't want to step back on that train.
Right.
And they said, just read it. And I read it. And I was, you know, bummed because I so enjoyed her role. Because again, she got the guy's role. She got the fun stuff to do. And I just was so afraid if I stepped back in there, I would unravel all the work that I had done to sort of change the course of where I wanted my work to go. And it was daunting because half of me wanted to step back into that comedy world, not the romantic part, but the comedy world. And the other half was like, if I do it, I'm gonna destroy something that's taken me a while to get.
She's a strong woman, though. She's a strong woman.
Yeah. And to Anne Fletcher's credit, she never allowed it to get romantic comedy-ish, you know, which is they're never funny or romantic, really. Then why are they called that?
Yeah.
It should be called Guy Meets Girl films. And but truly, they're never funny. And our goal was to make a comedy that just happened to dabble in the romance a little bit.
Well, there's a lot of fun physical comedy. I mean, the nude scene.
Nudity, it's all about being naked, not for me. Come on, it's like, you know, you see nudity equals $300 million. Had I known that very first clip you would have seen, butt naked, I would have been naked, running back and forth.
Well, wonderful people in it. Ryan Reynolds, Betty White.
Betty White, you know, Craig T. Nelson, Mary Steenburgen. Just again, you know, I do best when I'm surrounded by people who are better than I am.
And then that movie comes out, does all the money, and then you have The Blind Side, which did that take
in between?
Yeah.
Can't ignore that.
All About Steve, Labor Day.
Yeah.
Then Blind Side. Okay, June. Then September. You were working a lot.
Yeah.
And then November.
Yes. The Blind Side. Yes.
Did you have any idea, honestly, that this movie would have this kind of connection with an audience?
No, you know, again, I said no for a long time, and not because it wasn't a really beautiful script, but because I didn't know how to play Leah Tui. I said, you know, I felt like she was manufactured. And John Lee Hancock just couldn't explain her. I was like, well, what made her that? What was her background? Why is she? He's like, I can't. He couldn't really explain her to me. He said, just meet her and you'll see what I mean. And finally, I don't know how long into it, I said, fine, I'm going to be in the area. I'll stop by. And sort of just sort of closed it, and so they would not come to me anymore. And then I met her, and I couldn't figure out, but I realized what he'd written wasn't manufactured. This woman is that. And then I don't ever remember saying yes, and that's the joke. I go, I don't think I signed a contract, but I found myself just calling my dialects coach and seeing if she was available, sort of testing the waters, and then next thing I knew, I was knee-deep in my office, you know, phonetically breaking down Leanne Tui, and you know, and no one wanted to make the film. No one wanted to make the film. So, and I had, you know, people like agents going, really think this is a good opportunity, and I'm like, what do you know? I don't want to do this film. And then someone said, how about looking at this film as a wonderful opportunity to tell this kind of story? This is a bigger story than just your part. As an actor, we don't know what that means. You know, like, my line. And once I looked at that, I went, oh, I wasn't looking at it on the bigger picture. I was just looking at what I didn't think I was capable of doing. And then we went off to Georgia and just made our little movie. Everyone left us alone. There wasn't like the studios whispering how great we were doing. Nothing. We just were left alone, and not a word until I think they had the first preview, and then there were the rumblings of these scores, which to me still don't understand the scoring process. But like most things that strike a chord, I don't think they're made to strike the chord. They're made out of passion and love, which was John Lee Hancock's passion. He spent 2 years on this, and he knew what he wanted to say. I just didn't know what that was.